Do you believe in fairies? I always have, and today I'll be sharing 3 of my true fairy encounter stories that you won't want to miss. If you're new here, hi, I'm the Wild Witch, and I'm visually impaired, but magic has no limitations. Welcome, wild ones. So, this video is a video response to the Finding the Fae tag, started by Rochelle from Amethyst Ascension in collaboration with Summer from Astaria Sen. And if you haven't heard of these ladies, go on over, check out all their channels. Their mentions will be down below for you in the description. I just wanted to say thank you so much, ladies, for really getting this conversation going, because I have been wanting to make Fae related content here on my channel for years, and I've been really hesitant. I've been holding myself back. I've teased it every now and then, but never really committed. So I think this is a push and shove that I needed. I want to share my thoughts, feelings, experiences, personal gnosis, all the things about Fae, and I think this is a good start, so thank you for giving me the kick in the butt that I really needed. After reaching out to the Fae and connecting with them, I began to have experiences, and I want to share 3 of those several experiences with you today, and if you want a part 2, I can definitely do that. Just let me know. So I kind of titled these experience stories. I took some inspiration from Scary Fairy Godmother here. So let's get into the first one, which I'm gonna call Voice Among the Flowers. So I'm gonna do these in chronological order too. So way back in 2020, I'm saying way back like it was decades, but 2020, 2021, you know what happened around that time. I don't think I need to explain it. But my husband and I, we were looking to get out of the house, get some fresh air, do something new, explore something new without being around people, because health compromised person here. So we found this beautiful nature reserve. And this is way back when we still had Luna, so we wanted to get her out and get her exploring new areas too. And for those of you who don't know, she was our Pembroke Welsh Corgi. I'll insert a picture here on the screen so you can see. That's actually a picture of her at this beautiful nature reserve, and she loved it there. So yeah, first time there. We pull in, we start taking our walk, starting to get the lay of the land, exploring, knowing the place, and we found this beautiful butterfly garden. I was hearing what I can describe as faint tinkling of bells with a reverb sound effect. That's the best way I can explain it. It was faint, but it was close. It wasn't far. I asked my hubby, Mr. Wild Witch, like, do you hear that? He says no. I said, okay, well, I'm either crazy or delusional. I only heard the bells in that little flower patch area. We get out of the flower area, I don't hear them anymore. So we start exploring the paths and the trails, and we had a great time. Luna loved it. And we start heading back, and we go back through this wildflower garden. I hear the bells again. I felt drawn to picking one of the flowers. I didn't pick it yet because I do the whole etiquette thing with plant spirits. I asked permission. I wasn't getting anything at first. I try to do this from a little bit of distance away, and then if I don't get anything, I will reach out to the flower and like hover my hand by it. Or the plant. That's just how I gauge like energy, how it's feeling and stuff. And usually intuitively I will feel a yes or a no, whether I have permission, and I wasn't getting anything. All of a sudden I hear this voice in my right ear, and in a very, how do I want to describe this, like a scolding tone, I heard no. Like very sharp, very clear, no. I back up really quickly away from this flower, And I'm shocked. My husband's looking at me like I'm crazy. He thought like I found a bug or something. And he asked me what was wrong, and I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Hear what?" I said a voice that said no. You know, with my sight impairment, I asked, like, is there anyone nearby? He said, no, we're the only ones here. So, like, being in that area, it felt very liminal, I guess, because I was in between two, like, flower shrubbery. I don't know how to describe it, like a flower hedge, right? And you're in the middle, so it kind of creates a liminal space. You're between. That whole time I felt Fae energy. This whole place like emanates Fae energy. Intuitively, it felt Fae. Energetically, it felt Fae. So I don't have a way of clarifying that, but my intuition. So that's all I have to go off of. But as we're exiting this little flower hedge, I don't know what to call it, my husband finds a sign on our way out as we're leaving to the car. And he said, "I think I know why you heard a no." And he read the sign to me. And it's funny, we didn't notice it when we entered, but we noticed it when we left. It said, like, please don't pick any flowers, and it went on about like how they're for the wildlife and stuff. It's a nature reserve. I should have had common sense, like, duh, leave the stuff for the wildlife. I don't know, in my head I thought it was one of like thousands and thousands of flowers. I didn't think it would hurt, but of course, you know, with the etiquette and everything, checking beforehand, I'm very glad that I did. But I don't know, I wish I would have followed my common sense there and not have even went for it. But you live and you learn, you know, you make mistakes and you grow from them. So that was one of my experiences with the Fae, or at least what I assume is Fae. Moving on to story number 2, which I'm gonna call the late night visitor. So this happened in mid-March in either 2022 or 2023. We still had Luna at the time because she was in bed with us, and I'm laying there, I'm trying to sleep, and I am unable to because it's March. This is when daylight savings happen. The days are growing noticeably longer. I don't know what it is, but it affects my sleep patterns. I have a really hard time sleeping in March. I don't know what it is, like March, April, it's horrible. Anyway, so I'm laying in bed, I'm trying to empty my mind, relax, do some meditation, just to calm down, hopefully sleep. And Luna's all snuggled in next to me. Hubby's already out sleeping, so on logs, and I hear this like thump on the window, right? And the best way I can describe it is like a bird hitting the window, but it was way bigger than a bird. And I feel Luna jump next to me. She's up and alert, sitting, staring at the window. And I'm just laying there all calm. I have my arm around her and comforting her. And all of a sudden, I hear from the window, this goes over my head and out the bedroom door, "Wee! Ah ha ha! Ha 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 ha!" Whoever it was having a grand old time. And I knew that I wasn't like going crazy, or I knew it wasn't like lack of sleep or anything like that, because I'm looking at Luna when this is happening. Luna was tracking it. She was looking at the window, she was looking up, she was looking like she followed it. So I could verify it. I knew it wasn't delirium. I wasn't that tired enough to be loopy. So I don't know. And knowing that my dog reacted this way made me feel verified, like it was a legit experience. So fast forward a day later, I'm cleaning my bathroom, cleaning my house, and like I was in the bathroom specifically at this time. I even remember the cleaner I was using. It was that lemon method stuff. I don't know if you ever used it, but I love it. See, this is how detailed my memory is. So I'm cleaning, and behind me I hear a voice. It has a lull in its accent. This a lilt. I don't know the best way to describe it. It was an Irish accent. He said, "Can I help you?" I'm bad at impersonating accents. But I like swiftly look around. I'm looking behind me. I didn't see anybody. And you know when someone's like behind you at like ear level, it wasn't, it was like down lower. Like child height. So that's the way it sounded anyway, but you know how noise carries. Like usually I'm listening to a podcast or a YouTube video, that kind of thing, because I like company when I clean. But my phone was nearly dead, so it had to charge. It was charging in another room, so I didn't have anything to listen to. Like, could it have been my imagination? Yes, possibly. But with Fae experiences, it's all personal gnosis, right? I constantly, and I think this is healthy, that it's good to evaluate, you know, was this a delusion? Did I really hear this? Like, it's the point of like questioning and trying to verify, but also be open to accept it for what it is. I don't remember where I had that advice. That was either from Summer's channel or Emily Carding's book, Fairycraft. One of the two. I have a note about it. So yeah, I've just learned to take that experience for what it was. I heard it. I didn't have verification, but it was my own experience. I don't know, you know, because sometimes I think I'm crazy, sometimes I feel like I'm hallucinating, but you know what, it is what it is. I basically welcomed this being, and it felt Fae, and it felt like what I heard the previous night. And I said, look, if you have good intentions for me, my family, in this home, you're more than welcome to stay. But if there's any malevolent or evil anything, you gotta go, you know? And I just felt that presence around every now and then. Fast forward a few days later, after that, I wake up early, which is something that rarely happens. I usually don't wake up before my husband, but on this day I did, and I just took that time to savor, like, and enjoy. The dogs weren't up, they were still sleeping. Luna was in bed with my hubby. Lily was in her crate, still being crate trained as a puppy. And you know, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go in my witchy room, I'm gonna do a reading, I'm gonna do some witchy stuff, do the stuff I wanna do while no one's awake. And I like to cleanse my space with incense or whatever I'm feeling at that time, to not just cleanse the space, but like refresh the energy, reset the energy, and just set the vibe, set the mood for the reading. And anytime I do this, I don't want to offend my benevolent spirits that are here. So I will just say or whisper whatever, you know, to the benevolent spirits that are in this home, you are more than welcome to stay, but if this spray, incense, whatever I'm using, is offensive to you, you're more than welcome to leave and come back. I don't want to get rid of you. You don't have to go, you know, that sort of thing. So I heard our back door slam. Now, I assumed that my husband got up and was getting the dogs out. I didn't hear any noise from him, or from the dogs, but I don't know, maybe they were quiet, maybe I was just like in the zone, whatever, right? So I just assumed, but interestingly enough, I felt that energy of that being, which felt very, very fae to me, just leave, gone. So yeah, it was like at that same time, and I thought, okay, maybe they'll leave and come back. And I just continue my reading, I do my thing, I do my witchy stuff. And then hubby gets up with the dogs, and I asked him, like, hey, weren't you just up getting them out? And he said, nope, this is the first time getting them out. First time, like, getting up for the day. Unintentionally, I drove that being that felt like fae to me away, unfortunately, because I really wanted to do some pendulum work. I really wanted to connect and commune with it and figure out what it really was, but the only thing I have to go off of is my intuition. It felt fae to me, so that's what I'm gonna assume it is. If it comes back, I will definitely let you know and give you an update. The third encounter story that I want to share with you today, I want to call Orbs and the Old Maple. So it actually happened around this time last year. I remember it being after 4th of July. I was outside in the evening, and we had been having these really hot, sticky, nasty, muggy, humid evenings, but this one was a little bit cooler. There was a nice breeze going. It was lovely, and I definitely took the opportunity to be outside because I don't like that summer heat. And I'm just doing my thing. I am communing with the land, connecting to nature, giving my offerings, just being with nature, doing my witchy stuff. And all of a sudden, I see these lights. They are kind of emanating from the left-ish, that's the best way I can describe it, the left area from where I was standing of our back maple tree. And at first I thought, like, okay, is someone doing fireworks? Or are these like some weird like laser lights someone's doing? I don't know, it was really weird. But then I noticed that these things are kind of like pouring out of the tree, right? They're coming out faster, there's more of them, and I just realized, oh my gosh, they're orbs. Okay, I debunked the whole firework laser thing. They're orbs, and a lot of them were red, and there were some that were changing color from like red to blue to green to purple, like different colors, and they were coming closer to me. And I was getting increasingly more and more uncomfortable and uneasy in this situation, and I felt frozen. I really wanted to go grab my phone, go record this, go get this on video so people wouldn't think I'm insane. But I didn't. Like, I could not move. I felt petrified. And I finally like got the gumption to walk. I had to walk backwards into my house. I did. I was not gonna like turn my back to this because of how like uncomfortable I felt. It was so unsettling. So that happened, and the next day I went to go out there and check on the tree because it felt safe enough. There was bark just crumbling and falling off this area of the tree. Like, it was like cracked. I wish I had a picture of it that day of how like cracked it was. There was a visible like gash in this bark. It wasn't like that the day before. I would know because I'm out there quite frequently, and this just happened overnight. It was really weird, but I wish I had a picture of it the day it happened, but I will insert some B-roll of how the bark came away from the tree, because it's still like that. They like completely crumbled away now, so there's no bark protecting this area that the orbs were pouring out of. I just thought it was really weird. Intuitively, this felt very much of the land. It felt fae, and all I have to go on is my intuition for all of these experiences. I have no way of finding definitive answers, if that makes any sort of sense. I'm just taking it for what it is. I'm following what my intuition is telling me. One thing I've learned over the years is to trust my intuition on these things and just let it be what it is. And of course I want to try to figure things out. I want to think logically, but logic doesn't always have a place in this kind of thing. So it is what it is. I'm really curious, what are your thoughts? Do you think I experienced fae, or do you think I encountered something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm looking forward to connecting with you there as always. And I know that your time is really valuable, and I want to thank you for spending some of it with me here today. I had a lot of fun chatting all about fae experiences with you, and I can't wait to hear about yours. And if you like what I do here, I invite you to subscribe for more wild witchcraft and magical living from the perspective of a sight-impaired witch. And until next time, wild ones, stay wild and whimsical. Bye!